If you're looking to pick the best FPL captain, then you've come to the right place. This is your one-stop shop every game week where we analyse all the data all in one place to make the right decision. I started doing my analysis last season after the restart, and as you can see on the screen, I've had great success using this method. It's really important that you get your captain decisions right because it really can make or break your season. It has an high impact on your points, overall rank, mini leagues, etc. And that's why I'm here to help you out. Last week we captained Kevin De Bruyne. He got a goal, an assist, 3 bonus points and a cheeky extra point for the clean sheet as well. That totalled up to 28 points. That was really good last week. Let's smash it again this week. So for game week 12, the shortlist consists of 4 players, which is a completely different shortlist to last week. First of all, you've got Harry Kane, who faces Palace away from home. Kane has got the highest amount of returns in the league with 18, which is a considerable amount than any other player. Second on the list, we've got Sadio Mane, who faces Fulham away from home. He has a low amount of returns this season, but you will see later on in the video that he does have good underlying stats. Third on the list, we've got Mohamed Salah, who also travels away to Fulham. He's got the best return points per 90 minutes figure on the list. That's 0.2 higher than Harry Kane's, and I find that quite hard to believe with the amount of returns that Harry Kane's got, but it is down to him playing 100 minutes less, plus you get the extra point for the goal as well. And the last player on the list I think you'll be quite surprised by is Callum Wilson. He's got the only home fixture against West Brom. Alright, it is a bit of a punt, and I know you will question me on this one, and you have every right to, but I will justify it later on in the video. Part of it's down to West Brom's defensive stats and Wilson's form, where he got a goal and assist in his last match. One thing that we need to consider, when this video is being recorded, the game hasn't been postponed against West Brom. That could happen before the deadline, like it did against Aston Villa last week. One thing I just want you to bear in mind that Callum Wilson is 5th in the Premier League for the amount of goals scored this season. Let's take a look at the underlying stats for each player this season. Harry Kane has averaged almost an assist a game and over 1.5 returns per game as well. One thing we can take away from this is he is completely outperforming his expected goal involvement per 90 minute stats. Mane's underlying stats show that he is gaining to the positions, but his goals and assists per 90 minutes are showing a lack of end product this season. One thing to consider though is the Senegalese isn't on penalties, which makes it look a lot worse than what it actually is on his stats. Salah on the other hand has been more clinical for the Reds. He's not got the best underlying stats, but he has been averaging nearly a goal a game. As for Callum Wilson, he's been averaging 4 goals in every 5 games. Both Salah and Wilson have over 1 return per game on average. You might have already noticed at this point we've looked at the non-penalty stats, but we've not yet looked at the penalties. We know that Sadio Mane doesn't take the penalties, and that's why his goal output is so much lower. Harry Kane has scored 2 from the spot, Salah scored 4 and Wilson scored 3. The penalty factor boosts up the goals per 90 minutes, but it's important to consider that aspect of the game because it is part of it. There are a few additional stats that I just want to throw in there before we move on to the next bit. Mane has the second highest non-penalty expected goal involvement per 90 minutes figure in the whole league, whilst Harry Kane is in 3rd place. Harry Kane has also got the most returns in the league with 18, which is an average of 1 in every 54.6 minutes, which is really impressive. So as well as looking at the players themselves, it's important to look at the opposition. Crystal Palace have the strongest defence on the list, and it's not been too bad this season to be fair. They are more than twice as likely to get a clean sheet than Fulham. Fulham have only got a 6% chance of getting a clean sheet. They have the 2nd worst goals conceded and the 3rd worst expected goals conceded in the league. West Brom are 3.5 times more likely to get a clean sheet than Fulham, obviously because Liverpool and Spurs have more firepower than Newcastle, but West Brom do have the worst goals conceded and expected goals conceded in the whole league out of all the 20 teams. So looking at the opposition and form, this justifies why I've put Callum Wilson on the list. The probability is where it comes crashing down for Wilson. He has by far the worst odds and points projections on the whole list. There's not much between Harry Kane and Sadio Mane across the whole board. Surprisingly, Mane has a better chance of getting assists than Kane. As for Salah, he has the best anytime goal scorer and assist markets. He's margins ahead on the points projections too. Overall, the probability suggests that Liverpool are going to have a haul of goals this week. Now it's time to make the decision. This player has the most return points per 90 minutes, he has the most goals per 90 minutes, he faces the team with the highest chance of conceding, he has the best probability of getting a goal or assist, he's number 1 for the points projections both on Fantasy Football Fix and Fantasy Football Hub, and based on all this information, the best captain for Game Week 12 is Mohamed Salah.